I've gone through that. Yeah, I have read that. It is Kīṭāgirisutta. It is about abstaining from eating at night, and then eventually he says about different type of the followers of Buddha, different levels of like this.
Right. So after that, what did you understand next?
Yeah, I think that's what we were discussing. That it will be better like that all those seven categories.
7 type of individuals.
Individuals, yeah. Like somebody is a Dhamma follower, somebody is a faith follower, somebody is liberated in both the sides, somebody is paññāvimutti, vimutti. So, I think it will be better like if you explain it more in detail.
Okay. I'm going to do that. I just wanted to see whether you have gone through it and what are the experience. So, first things first is that it's not about one time eating, it's about eating in the night. Okay. Now, that's the first thing we need to understand. So, the question comes, why? In fact, if you look from medical point of view also, if you eat late in the night, it doesn't get digested. So, if it doesn't get digested, there are a lot of acid reflux and all that happening. So, the person cannot maintain his good health. If the health cannot be maintained, he cannot meditate. So, what he's saying there is that don't eat in the night. So, if we go here, so avuso anyatareva ratti bhojanena bhunjeta. That means rati is night. So don't eat in the night. Don't partake food in the night. Now then the question comes, if I'm hungry, should I sleep hungry? Now this is for a bhikkhu. So first you have to understand to whom this is addressed and why it is addressed and what we are supposed to be doing. The first thing we need to do is indriya sambara. That is, after the sila is established. Let's say I start my meditation practice. Before the meditation practice, I need to have reflection on the sila and then on the morality, and then seeing that I don't break the sila. Okay. Now, if I'm not breaking the sila, and then what happens here is that the prana, or we can call it as vital force, or whatever we would like to call that as, doesn't go outside through the senses. So I can guard the sense doors. So that's the second one. So after sila is indriya sambara. If I do indriya sambara, the hunger subsides. So in the Putta Mamsa Sutta, ahara is also in the senses. So we are having, the more we indulge outside, the more hunger we have. It's a craving of which is going to create a lot of issues. So we need to eat. In fact, those people who are depressed, they keep on eating because then they don't know what to do. So there is always eating. We eat through eyes, ears, nose, tongue and all that, and then that means there is eating. So that's a hunger. So if I'm doing indriya sambara, the hunger reduces. If the hunger reduces, even the food given through the body also should reduce because it is indriya sambara. So it is indriya samvarena sila. That is, the sila is established for indriya sambara. That means generally you will not feel hungry. If you're not feeling hungry, you will come to know that you're not feeling hungry. That is, morning when I eat, and then let's say I take food in the afternoon, and then there is no hunger unless there is physical exhaustion. So in the case of meditating people who would like to sit and meditate, then there is no need for eating in the night. So he's saying that don't eat in the night, because then you'll find that you will be healthy, you will be nimble, strong, and living comfortably. You don't have to go out in search for food in the night and getting caught up with the wild animals and people who don't want to give you food, etc. So instead of that, you can just be at your kuti and spend your time in meditation. This is what he's telling to the bhikkhu. What about the lay follower? And now the same thing can be applied for the lay follower also. If we are doing Indriya Samvara, then Bhojana Matya Nutta is the third one. That is, you don't require to be eating a lot. The 2 square meals are sufficient. Now what would happen if I stay hungry? You cannot meditate. What would happen if you are full? You can't meditate. So that means in both the cases, in the case number 1, it turns itself into restlessness. In case number 2, it will get into sleepiness, and both are hindrance. That means you need to eat exactly to what the hunger is, and you need to drink water exactly to what the thirst is. Not too much, not too less. Then you can sit and meditate. So the question asked here is that why should we give up what is apparent in the present to chase after what takes time? That's the question. Because now you are saying I shouldn't be eating in the night. But I find that if I'm eating in the night, nothing really is happening. You are saying everything will be bad. You will not be able to meditate, you will not be able to sit comfortably, etc. But then that's not the case. I'm able to do so. So what's wrong? Is a question what is being asked. Okay. And then he says, have I ever taught you that no matter what you do, your skillful qualities will increase and unskillful qualities will decrease when you are having pleasure, painful or neutral feeling? So when you react to the pleasure, painful and neutral, would it lead to skillful qualities or does it lead to unskillful qualities? Because when somebody feels pleasurable, there is immediately lust or desire to maintain that because it's pleasurable. I want more. That means the greed is going to automatically get formed. If something is painful, I don't want it. So the hatredness is going to get formed. And if it is neutral, it takes me to more and more ignorance because I'm not able to make out whether I really like it or I don't really like it. So he's saying that does it really help in removing unskillful qualities? So have I ever told you in a wrong way? Is his question. Meaning when there is a pleasurable feeling, greed will not happen. When there's a painful feeling, hatred is not going to happen. When you have a neutral feeling, the delusion will not happen. Now this feeling of this one, neutral, is actually deluding. You really don't know that there is a feeling called as neutral, and that is avidya, that is ignorance. Just asking that you really see this way. Okay, why is he saying this? Because they're asking this question to him that what you're saying happens in the future, let's say, but presently nothing is happening. So why should I go behind something which is going to happen in the future rather than looking at what is happening in the present. You are saying that everything what we do is akalika. So why should I go and wait at something which is going to happen in the future? You are saying not eating in the night helps me in the future. I am now seeing that if I am eating right now also nothing is happening. So why shouldn't I do that? That's the question. And for this is the answer. So he is saying that, look, my dear friend, if I had not seen it myself, would I ever make that statement? When somebody sees pleasure feeling leads to greed, and painful feeling leads to hatred, and neutral feeling leads to ignorance or to the delusion, and I've seen it, and hence I'm saying that. So he says that I've understood it, and hence I'm telling it to you. So it's telling that, yes,
That means it is very clear that it is not just about Shila, but you need to have this type of, restraining your indriya or sense organs to lead you to, the higher levels of, purifying the mind. For example, you are not directly breaking any Shila, but this type of, controlling your senses to some stage, because it can lead you to more greed, hatred, and delusion. You indulge in, yeah.
right. So the question comes here is that only doing Sila is sufficient? And the answer is no. So in the Charana Dhamma of the Buddha, it goes like this. First, Sila. Second, Indriya Samvara. Third, Bhojana Matyanutta. Fourth, Jagariyana Yoga. Then it starts with Saddhamma. And so Saddhamma includes Saddha, Sati, Hiri, Uttappa, like that. So we need to exactly copy the guna, the quality of the Buddha, in order to get into Arhat. Okay. Now to do so, the third one, Bhojana Matyanutta, is dependent on the Indriya Samvara. If I am not able to guard the sense door, I will not be able to proceed further. It's not about force-fitting myself that I shouldn't be eating in the night. That wouldn't really help. Most of the time we try to doing it by force. Anything by force will make it even more worse than what it is. Because there is agitation. When we have agitation, it is coming into the hatredness indirect way rather than direct way. Because you will, out of 5 hindrances, first we get doubt. Second, if I am hungry, feeling like nauseating or feeling like something is not okay, yet I sit. I can't sit for meditation because it's making me restless. The body gets restless. When the body gets restless, what happens? You can't sit. Then can you stand then? No. Can you walk then? No. Can you sleep then? No. So forcefully I'm doing it, and ultimately the body breaks down. the muscle mass reduces. When the muscle mass reduces, the pain will start. When the pain will start, whatever little bit sitting I was doing also will not happen. Now, if I were to see why this happened, is because I forced austerity on the body as though the body is going to listen to me. It's not going to work out. Okay. Now, shall I indulge then? Shall I eat in the night? That's the question. Now, here I am confused. So again comes into doubt. So we are going to go through these 5 hindrances all the time. Then what I should do? After Sila, we need to have Indriya Samvara. And then the hunger recedes. The actual hunger will remain, but the craving kind of hunger will recede. When the craving kind of hunger recedes, and then you are fine, because once you eat in the afternoon, it takes long time before it gets digested, because you are not doing anything physically. Now question comes, what I am doing physical? Then eat something if you are hungry. If you are not hungry, don't eat. So the objective is, give something only if the body is feeling uneasy. Then unskillful qualities will not come and skillful qualities will not decline. That's the message. So without Indriya Samvara or guarding the sense doors, you possibly cannot achieve the reducing the food. That's what it means. So he's talking on the feeling, because hunger is a feeling. There are 2 kinds of hunger. One, really the body wants. 2, the greed, hatred, delusion which is there, that takes over. So I want to taste this kind of thing, that kind of thing, and all that will come. So that is what is hunger. That's the second type of hunger. So it's a feeling hunger, not the real hunger. You got the point now? Where is he driving it? He is talking about these 3 feelings in hunger, in eating in the night. So you are adding more unskillful qualities than adding skillful qualities, is what he is trying to say to the bhikkhus. Because you are not agreeing to me that you shouldn't be eating in the night. Okay. It's all about that only. So he's saying that, because I don't say all of these people have to still work to do with diligence, nor do I say that all this bhikkhus have to work to do with diligence. So he's saying that I say they don't have to work to do with diligence if they are perfected, defilement ended, having completed a spiritual journey, that is brahmacharya, done what has to be done, laid down the burden, achieved their goal utterly, ending the fetter of continued existence and becoming rightly free through enlightenment. Because they have done their work, they are incapable of being negligent. So he is also asking, what if for a people who would have to work, if they are trainees, sekha?
So,
Yep.
so that means that even if some bhikkhu become arahant, he is doing all this, not the chila. Like for example, if he eats just after 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, it doesn't really matter. But he's trying to show an example to the future generations, right? Because he's not going to break any Shila by eating at maybe 1 o'clock. Yeah, instead of 12, if he ate at 1 o'clock, there is no problem.
So the message being driven is there are two kinds of hunger. One hunger which is created, another hunger which is real. If you are wanting to see your created hunger, you should do samvara. And then the unskillful qualities will reduce and the skillful will increase. So if you're feeling healthy by not eating, that means it is skillful. If you're feeling heavy by eating, it means unskillful. Because it will take you towards drowsiness, towards lethargy, and it will not allow you to proceed further. That which is skillful will make you energetic. So he's trying to show both of them in the present state. They're asking why I should do it. It's come in the future. We're saying that if you do it now, you just try. If you're heavy, you'll feel like sleeping. If you're not heavy, you don't feel like sleeping. So why don't you do that? That eat something which will fill up, and that's it. So that will not make you feel sleepy, nor it will feel you anything. Yes, Bobby, go ahead.
No, actually, that was not my question. My question was that a bhikkhu, he has a lot of Vinaya rules, so many Vinaya rules, and basically, the 5 precepts is, or that is what the Shila is. Others are just for supporting his spiritual path. For example, eating after 12 o'clock for a bhikkhu is part of his Vinaya rule. So if somebody is perfected, like he become an arahant, if he eats at after midday, in the afternoon, if he is very hungry, he is not doing anything wrong, right? That's what my question is. Because he's not breaking any precept.
That's what he's saying here. Only those who are trainees who haven't achieved it, they have to work.
So why most of the bhikkhus are still very keen on that, all these things are because just to show the future generations?
There are two reasons. Number one reason, let's say I become a bhikkhu, I join one monastery and I see the teacher of mine is eating. So I would also do the same thing because I see that my teacher is eating, so why I shouldn't eat? So that would happen to me. So in order not to make the student go confused, it's better that they follow what everybody should follow, irrespective whether they're arhat or not. Because then if let's say there are 100 students and they watch the teacher and they get confused now. My teacher is doing it, but he's saying we should not be doing. So now why does he do in that case? So that becomes a very difficult answer. So that's what those bhikkhus were following two of those other bhikkhus, right? And then they are eating in the night. So like Asaji and that other person, right? He's saying that they are doing it and we are following them. So he wants to cut that. Here also he's saying it. If they have established, then there's no problem. If they are not established, then there is a problem. So that's the the ground on which he's talking. So they can eat, not that they can't eat at 1 o'clock, but
to avoid confusion.
To avoid confusion and making sure that everybody is doing the same thing, I think that is better. So he's saying that there are 7 people. One is freed both ways. So Ubhatobhāgavimutti is a very, I done one discourse on that, Ubhatobhāgavimutti. It's a very nice thing to see. So there are 2 parts of it. One is the through jhana, 9 jhanas, that is Cheto-vimukti. And one is the paññāvimutti, where you've understood defilements have ended through patisamutpada. Okay, if you have done both sides, then it becomes Ubhatobhāgavimutti. So then if you are having Ubhatobhāgavimukti, that means you don't require to be doing anything further. You're done. You have done through jhana, you're done through the paññāvimutti, which is patisamutpada. So you are done. So you don't have to do anything. So he's saying that there are these 7 people. One is Ubhatobhāgavimutti, paññāvimutti, kaya sakhi, ditti papato, saddha vimukto, dhammanusari, saddhanusari. So he has ida bhikkave ikkecho puggalo yete santa vimokha atikamma rupe arupe arupa te kayena pusitva viharati paññāya chassad disva asava parikhina honti. So now how does a person get into a state which will take him to the Cheto Vimukti and paññāvimutti? In Cheto Vimukti there are 3 kinds of Cheto Vimukti. One is the metta, Brahmavihara. That is one Cheto Vimukti. Second is the 7th jhana, which is akinchayatana. Third one is this sanya vedata nirodha. These are the 3 Cheto Vimukti you can have. Now, how do I enter? How do I exit? Would be the question. Now, the standard thing is that vivicheva kamehi, vivicheva akusala dhammehi, savitakkam savichara piti sukha, patamajjhana upasampajjati. Now, what it really means is that vivicheva kamehi, by guarding the sense doors. The kama is coming from the sense doors, so you cut the sense doors, close the sense doors. When you close the sense doors, what happens? Like Sotapanna stage or a Nibbanic stage is when the person is able to close the sense door. So, how do you close the sense door? Not reacting to the sensations. First, you have to understand there are sensations, or rather there are feelings. Feelings are 3 kinds. One is a pleasurable feeling, painful feeling, neutral feeling. All those 3 feelings gives you a heaviness and lightness as a sensation. Overall. Now I can have throbbing as a sensation, heat as a sensation, tingling as a sensation, but all of that will ultimately lead either to a heaviness, that something is heavy and something is light. If I don't react to this sensation through feelings, then I am guarding the sense door. Then I am guarding the sense door. When I am guarding the sense door, what is going to happen? Vivicheva kamehi, akusala dhamma will not be there. So I have also worked out on akusala dhamma, the 10 akusala which are there. So I am enabling that not to be there. So the unskillful qualities will not be there. So when I am guarding the sense door, the unskillful qualities cannot come. Only when I am not guarding the sense door, the 10 unskillful qualities are going to come. So when I am establishing sila, it is imperative that I need to guard the sense door also. Now what happens? I am not feeding too much in the body. So, and then not sleeping too much, because eating too much makes me sleep too much. If I eat less, then sleep is also less. So Jagariyanu yoga is established. That means sleeping to whatever is required rather than sleeping like for hours together. So let's say if I am able to do that. Akusala dhammehi Savitakka savichara. Now in this savitakka, I can add anything I want. It is cutting out the sansara and looking at the Buddha Dhamma. Or I can put anicca, dukkha, anatta, whatever combination I want to work on that, I can put it in the savitakka savichara. Now, when I establish savitakka savichara, I being into first jhana. Like that, I can go step by step, have piti, have sukha, have upekha, then the infinite space and infinite consciousness, nothingness, neither perception nor non-perception. ನನ್ನ ಫೋನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಮಾನ್ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಒಂಚೂರು ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೇಳಿ. So basically we can do something like that, and then we achieve the 9th jhana, which is paññāvimutti nirodha. What it means is that on the 9th jhana especially, the senses have feelings and perception. The first thing to go out is perception about everything, because there's nothing to perceive. The sense stimulus itself not being there, there's nothing to perceive. So the vijnana will get into nirodha. So you get a nirodha samapatti. When the nirodha samapatti happens, the feeling is gone, because there is no longer anything to be felt. So the chakku vijnana, sota vijnana, ghana vijnana, kaya vijnana, jivha vijnana, mano vijnana, all the vijnana will end. So they will wait for some time, and since no input is there, the vijnana has got nothing more to do. So when that is done, it is ended. So when it is ended, you know it is ended. So that becomes Kīṭāgirisutta through the 9th jhana. You can do through 7th jhana. You can also do by contemplating on the Brahma Vihara. Now in the Vimala-Ramsey technique, if we were to take, which he started 6-hour meditation, that is more towards the Brahma Vihara. Okay. He calls it the twin meditation. Okay. You can do that. There's nothing wrong. If we take Ajahn Lee's technique. Okay. So the Ajahn Lee technique, if I were to take it, then I can attain both. I can attain the Kīṭāgirisutta through the heart. Cheto is heart only anyway. So the Kīṭāgirisutta through the Brahma Vihara is one way. Then I can use it for 7th jhana. That is nothingness. I can do that. How and why? In the Ajahn Lee technique, if you are able to have observation of breath all the time, in all the situations, it will make it nothing. So it will also give you the chance to see eye has nothing, ear has nothing, nose has nothing, tongue has nothing, body has nothing, like that. So I can enter into that state. So I can have a Kīṭāgirisutta. But it will not lead to paññāvimutti in both the cases. Okay. So it's not Ubhatobhāgavimutti. It is only Kīṭāgirisutta. It is not paññāvimutti. Now what is paññāvimutti? In paññāvimutti, you are to not only do a Kīṭāgirisutta, you need to end the entire defilement, cut the entire defilement. That is paññā. Now that means the person is not released? No. Is not fully liberated. Is partially liberated. And then he comes down there about that also, but we need to look at this state. Yes, he is liberated. Vimukti is liberation, but through chitta, not through paññā. In the Ubhatobhāgavimutti, he is done from both sides. From paññā also he is done, and Kīṭāgirisutta also he is done. So in the Ajahn Chah, he uses the Kesaloma Naka Danta Tacho. If I use that and I am able to discern what really Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, get into the Patisamutpada, cut that both sides happening, then it is paññāvimutti. So then I am cutting from here, I am cutting from there. So the Chetovimukti is also achieved and the paññāvimukti is also achieved. Any question?
Yes.
Yes,
So,
go ahead.
yeah. So now, like vimutti is liberation. Like you are finished. You are into nibbana, right? Yeah. So then, like somebody who is liberated by Chetovimukti or using Brahma Vihara or a formless like an attainment, and then he's already liberated, right? Then how he is liberated in both the ways? That means, for example, this happens separately, or this happens simultaneously, or this happens together, or
It can happen in any combination.
So, for example, somebody is liberated by Chetovimukti, like using the jhana technique or the Brahma Vihara, he can do paññāvimutti later on.
Yes, he's saying here, right? And what person is freed by wisdom? He says there, a person who does not have direct meditative experience of the peaceful liberation that are formless, transcending form. Nevertheless, having seen with wisdom, their defilements have come to an end. Now, this is a very strange thing. What is strange here is that in the Chetovimukti, he can see his past lives and so many other things what is indicated. But in the paññāvimukti, nothing of that is experienced. No past life, no reading other people's mind, no looking at where the being is being born here and disappeared there, and all of that, whatever is mentioned, only the defilements are ended. That's all. There's nothing else which happens.
So that means somebody who is liberated using paññāvimutti wisdom, and if he wants to, like he can become an arahant, is it? And then once he become an arahant, he can still try and do this formless meditation.
It will not work. Once he has done through wisdom, there's nothing called as coming back to the meditative experiences.
No, what I mean is that if he wants to have this,
it will not happen.
Other powers like seeing the past life and all.
It will not happen. It will not happen.
For having this other, this one you need to have a
Chetovimukti. Correct. If he can't establish in Chetovimukti, I will give you an example. Yesterday in our night session, there was one person who was saying that he is able to, when the sound comes, he is able to cut it. He is able to do all of that, like Indriya Samvara, without any problem. But he is not able to explain it. Okay. If I give him a benefit of doubt, saying that yeah, he would have done it, it's very good. If he is able to do like that, excellent state to be in. Okay, so he was asking me when we were looking at this jhana, he was not able to understand, but he is saying how is he doing. So it might so happen that he can get into the paññāvimukti but never be able to get through the Chetovimukti. In fact, there is one sutta also where one teacher of a different tradition goes and meets the Buddha, and his students, that is the teacher's students, say that look, Buddha has become too popular, we are not getting any kind of provisions, so why don't you join there, learn and teach us, that's a better thing. Then he says, okay, I think I will also have to do that, and then he goes and joins the Buddha, and he asks the questions to each one of these monks, saying that have you encountered this, wherein you are able to see past lives and this one and that one. They say, no, we have liberated through wisdom. And this person gets confused. So he goes and asks the Buddha himself, saying that your students are saying they don't have any one of these attainments you talk about, but they are saying they are liberated. And he says, yes, they are liberated. They are liberated out of wisdom. And they can't get any one of this. And that's a fact, he says. So, if you get it through defilements ended through wisdom, you will not get any supernormal powers. But yet you are an arhat. Any questions? You are on mute, you are on mute.
You told in the beginning that there is somebody can liberate in both the ways.
Yes.
So now that time you also told that if somebody is liberated in one way, he can also do it different times, like liberate in other way
Yes.
also. Like,
Yes.
So what does that mean?
If he is done through the Vimutti, he can now do paññāvimutti.
Or not the other way?
Not the other, because the defilements are not there, right? So now when the defilements are ended, how will you go back and do what?
But in Vimutti also defilement is gone, right?
Defilements are suppressed.
Suppressed, but the Vimutti is happened, liberation is happened?
In the mind it has happened. See, now you should understand what this Vimukti is. Chitta is mind. Paññā is wisdom. So in the Vijnana, there are, or from Chitta to Vijnana, 9 stages. We have to understand one thing. It starts as pure light, but then it gets culminated or it gets into muddy things. Okay. Now what happens here? The Vijnana has to be understood and Paññā has to be developed. It's there in Mahavedana Sutta. Okay. Now what it really means? Vijnana, like we were talking about, Bobby, you remember we had that chocolate yesterday, right? Yesterday night you had a chocolate. Now, what is Paññā? What is this Chitta or Vijnana? Let's first understand Vijnana and what is Paññā. Vijnana is the one which will give you an experience. Let's say I call you Bobby and you say I am Bobby, is a Vijnana. There's nothing else, you're cognizing. It just leads into cognition. A proper cognition or an improper cognition, it doesn't matter, it's just a cognition. It just cognizes. What is cognition? Cognition means an ability to recognize or to understand what is being asked, what is being said, like that. So let's say, Vilas, how are you today? If that question were to be asked, the cognition will say, meaning the cognizing thing will say, hey, it's asked to you, Vilas. How are you? I am using the language connotation to say an expression, the mental feeling at how am I. So then I say, Bobby, I'm doing good. But you don't know what is good as per Vilas. But you know in general this is good. You say good, you know that you know is Vijnana. Right? In most of the Western countries, they keep on using the word I know, I know, I know. And that is what I know means. That means there is nothing more to be known. I know what you're saying. I get it. Like that. That is called cognition. That is cognition, not called, that is cognition. So you cognize. And when you go back, it becomes recognized. That is, you are again cognizing it. So this way of seeing is what Vijnana is. It has no jnana. It has no wisdom. It just does what is being asked. It's instead of Vilas, the Vilas is called some other name. It's called Indian So the Indianness comes in the chitta, or rather in the mind, or the vinyan, better way to put. If somebody says, Vilas, there's a job opportunity in Australia, would you like to go there? Two things are going to come here. One is a job, one is Australia in the Vijnana. It doesn't discern that there is nothing called as a job and nothing called as Australia. It can't. This blind is blindfolded. And that is why it is called as ayoniso manasikara. That means not thoughtful about what is getting reflected. It just gets reflected and it takes it to be true. Takes that to be true. Now, what is paññā? Wisdom. Wisdom means you know what really it is. So you know the rupa, you know the vedana, you know the sanya, you know the sankhara, you know the vijnana, and you have dropped the asavas itself from there in the 5 aggregates, and you get to see the patisamutpada both in forward and reverse, and you're done. Got it? Now this wisdom will not allow you to take it as Vilas. No matter how much time Vilas has been informed, there's nothing. But there is one problem. The problem here is you can't get into the meditative attainments. So you can't make him sit and then say this is first jhana and second jhana, third jhana, all that, because there is no thing to see. So he can't go back and do this Ceto Vimutti.
So is it like in some of the suttas, I don't know whether I'm correct, but Buddha teaches this 8 jhanas, and then after that, he said that then he gets into this psychic powers, and then he gets into the noble truths, and then the taints are finished. So, and then this is the taints, these are the arising of the taints, these are the cessation of the taints, this is the path leading to the cessation of the taints. So after teaching this 8 jhanas, he talks like that. I don't know whether I am correct, but that is what.
No, you are correct. That is correct. But this is what it is. So there is another sutta which I said, right, where that person doesn't believe whatever the monk said. So he goes and asks the Buddha, how can somebody not able to see any one of these supernormal powers and yet claim that they are arhats? Isn't it wrong? And he says, no, they are right. And he says, he gets confused. He says that I'm not able to understand what you're saying. In one, he will say that you need to know all of this, and now you're saying they don't have to know it. Then he says, I don't care whether you agree with me or not, and that is true. And it makes him even more puzzled. He has come with puzzling. What he thinks is, he will do this, and he will go, and he will teach, so he gets more students. Unfortunately, on that day when he went, many people came and told there are arhats, and Buddha agreed to that. And then he went and asked them, can you do this, can you do this, can you do this? They said, we don't do anything, but we are liberated out of wisdom. Got the point?
Yeah, so that now just I ask you that question, that after 8 jhana, then what is happening? He's saying that the taints are finished, he's seen that 4 noble truths. So that is not wisdom, right? Is that wisdom? That is paññā.
That's paññāvimutti.
So he has attained all this jhana.
Who?
He has attained after 8 jhana, he went into this paññāvimutti.
Yes, so he can get into 2 vimuktis.
Okay, so he has done both.
That is called Ubhatobhāgavimutti, right?
Okay. Yeah.
See, I'll tell you one thing. Now let's take this example. I am now teaching how to enter into jhanas for the Hindi group. Let's say they get into the jhana. They get into 7 jhana. they are liberated in the 7th jhana. Fair. And we do the Brahma Vihara and they get liberated in Brahma Vihara. Great. Very good. Then we do to the 9th jhana. They are liberated in 9th jhana. Very good. But it's not paññāvimutti.
Even in 9th jhana. No.
Because the chitta is pure and bright. That's all. Now, what is paññā then? Paññā is wisdom. That doesn't mean that in chitta, cheto vimukti, you can't see the Four Noble Truths. You can see the Four Noble Truths. The paññā is that the defilements, the asavas are completely extinguished. You are able to see. But in the cheto vimukti, you are not able to see the asavas ending. You have to believe that asavas had ended. That doesn't mean that you are not relieved. You are released. So he is giving the differences also. Next one will be the cheto vimukti. I think it will be there.
Direct witness.
Direct. Kaya Sakhi. So we did this. Did both ways. Then paññāvimutti. Then we are coming to Kaya Sakhi.
Here he is not saying cheto vimutti. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Only some of the defilement have come to an end. You see here. As direct meditative experience of peaceful liberation that are formless, transcending form. And having seen with wisdom, some of their defilement have come to an end. Paññāya chassa disva ekeccha asava parikhina honti. Now, what is this? Kaya Sakhi is of the 4 asavas. Let's understand one by one. Ditti asava sotapanna. Kamasava sakadagami. Bhavasava avidya asava arhat. Avidya asava remains. Bhavasava gone. So he has to work out for avidya asava. In this case, Kaya Sakhi. And others can also ask. It's not only a talk between me and Bobby. If that was the case, none of you are required. I and Bobby can always be there. If you have something, you can add. It's not between me and Bobby. So don't get it in that way. But if you are able to understand what we both are speaking, very good. Okay, so then. Dittipato. So he says that the Dittipata is one. Some of their defilement have come to an end and they have clearly seen and clearly conducted with wisdom the teaching and training proclaimed by the realized one. Meaning, their Ditti are gone. What is Ditti gone? Without meditative attainment? No, that's not required. Sotapatti has been done through non-meditative. He is able to discern this is Rupa, this is Vedana, this is Sanya, this is Sankhara, this is Vijnana. What arises will pass away. Yam kinchi samudaya dhammam sabbam tam nirodha dhammam iti. He has understood. Like in the case of Anusha, we used to have this discussion some time ago that if I know this perfectly, can I be a Sotapanna? And the answer is yes. You don't have to know all the different things. Just this much that Yam kinchi samudaya dhammam sabbam tam nirodha dhammam is sufficient. There's no other need. Because she was hearing to some discourses on YouTube and she found it. She could understand it. She could discern it. So she got through wisdom. That need not be that she is able to get into the jhanas If she's getting into jhanas, is good, but that doesn't mean that it has to be like that only. There's no need. Like in Sri Lanka, especially, is that they keep on doing the discourses or desana. And if you are able to understand the desana, you are sotapanna. Irrespective of whether anyone agrees, disagrees, whatever it is sotapanna, because you have discerned for yourself the five aggregates, then you are not grasping onto the five aggregates. Even though you have not even known that there are five aggregates, still you are not grasping to the five aggregates, then you are also still a sotapanna. Meaning, formally nobody has told me this is Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. Those terms I don't know. But I am not attached to anything. So then I am a sotapanna. That also can happen. That kind of panya which opens up. So he might not have any meditative attainments. He doesn't know what is first jhana. He doesn't know what is second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, and all of that. He doesn't even care anything called jhana exists. Still, he is a sotapanna because his ditti is changed. So ditti patho. Okay. Now, saddhavimukto. This again in sotapanna. Only saddha is opened up. His defilements have ended to an extent that he has unshakable faith in Buddha Dhamma Sangha. But he's freed by faith. You just understand this. Saddha vimukto. Dhammanusari. Now, Dhammanusari. Anusari of Dhamma. That means his Saddha faculty, out of five indriyas, Saddha faculty has started to open up. Sati is started to open up. No Panya, no Samadhi, and Virya faculty is opening up. But he understands that there is five faculties. So, he becomes a Dhammanusari. He is following the Dhamma. And the defilements have not yet come to an end. So he will be a Sotapatti Magga person. As he's on that path. So next life he will be born again in human world to continue to become a Sotapanna and Sakadagami and all that. So this is now comes Saddhanusari. This again is a person who believes that there are five indriyas. He is yet to get into anything other than that. So he is not able to do the Dhammanusari, but he is just on faith. He just relies on whatever is said by the Buddha or Buddha's disciples. And he just follows it. But he requires, in both the cases, the Dhammanusari, Saddhanusari, you require a good Kalyan Mitra who can give him the proper wisdom, proper guidance, proper conditioning for him to go forward onto the Chitta-vimukti, paññāvimutti and all of that, and Ubhatobhāgavimutti. Whereas in the case of Dhammanusari, Saddhanusari, if they don't have anyone, they end up being there only. So that's the reason he's saying here that that they have to get somebody. Hopefully, associate with good friends and control their faculties. Kalyanamitte bhajamano indriyani sammana nayamano. So if you go back and see one by one, now we finished till here. Now we'll see the Kaya Sakhi. So they have a direct, this one, but they have to work on something. So Anagami stage, then here we can say so they get this completely. Now Dittipato, they don't have it, but they have seen it. Their Dhitti is changed, so then they are Sotapanna, then they'll again, if they get a good person along with them, then it makes them free. Saddha Vimukto, only Saddha. Dhamma, now this is only Anusari. Dhamma Anusari, Saddha Anusari. Yes.
Sir, I had a question. So, out of the three Vijayas, right? Asavakaya Gnana, Ubhatobhāgavimutti Gnana, and Chutipapata Gnana. So, one who is liberated by paññāvimutti, that person will only have the Asavakaya Gnana, right?
Correct. Nothing else.
Not even the Chutipapata Gnana?
Nothing.
Okay.
All the eight attainments, only one is there. All the seven are not there.
Got it.
Dibba Sota, Dibba Chakku, all of that is not there.
Right.
Pubbe, Nivasati Jnana, then Parachitta Jnana, like that, not there.
So, when you said the defilements are still suppressed in Cheto Vimutti, is it because the nimitta of I is still there?
See that Avijja is not removed.
Okay.
Everything else is removed. But there's a very funny thing here. Now, Avijja is so less that it doesn't take any other form. So, in that way, he is liberated.
Right.
Because there is no panya required now. Because his chitta doesn't take avijja as its starting point. Avijja pachay sankhara, right? So there are no sankharas. So the avijja cannot take form.
So the extinguishment will still happen.
Extinguishment will still happen in the Cheto Vimukti. Ubhatobhāgavimutti is when both sides the person has seen.
Right.
So, yeah, sure. So he's saying, I don't say that Naham Bhikkhave Adikineva Anya Radhanam Vadami. That is Anupabba Sikha, Anupabba Kiriya, Anupabba Patipada, Anya Radhanena Hoti. That means if you are looking at liberation or enlightenment right away, I am saying it is only achieved in step by step. So he gives you the steps. He says, Saddha na hosi, then Upasankam na hosi, then Pariyopasana na hosi, Sotavadhanam na hosi, Dhamma Savanam na hosi, Dhamma Radhana na hosi, Atu Parikha na hosi, Dhamma Jhana Khanti na hosi, Chando na hosi, Utsaho na hosi, Tulana na hosi. So if you don't have these then you are on the wrong path. Tapi nama bhikkave saddha na hosi, tampi nama bhikkave upasankhamam manam na hosi, sapi nama bhikkave pariupasana na hosi, tampi nama bhikkave sotavadhanam na hosi. So like that. So he is saying that don't get into this kind of wrong thinking that if you do this to me, I will only do that. If you don't do this to me, I will not do that. You are talking about a realized one. He doesn't have any attachment. He doesn't care whether you like it, you don't like it, because he is unattached. So don't get into this kind of dealings or tradings that you do this to me, then I will do that for you. If you want me to follow what you are saying, you first show me what you have, and then I will decide whether I want to do it or not. So you don't do like that. For a faithful disciple who practice him to fathom the teacher's instruction, one or two results can be expected: enlightenment, ditteve dhamma, anya sati, va upadise anagamita. That's what it is, ultimately. So all suttas will lead to anagami state. 90+% of sutta will lead you to anagami state, because kamachanda vyapada will go away. So you will become anagami if we follow any one of these. Like saddhanusari, dhammanusari, like that. If you take a sotapatti, phala, waiting for the phala, then the saddhavimukti, all of that, dittivimukti is sotapanna. Above that, anagami. And above that is arhat. That's how this is 7. Good. That's it on this sutta. Supriya ji, you have any questions?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Anusha?
Not from me either. Thank you.
Okay. May?
No questions. Thank you.
Very good. Pratik?
No, sir.
Okay, good. Certainly all of you have understood the 7 different kind of individuals. Puggala.
नहीं, सब समझ में आया ऐसा तो नहीं है, लेकिन जितना भी मतलब जितना समझने की क्षमता थी, ट्रांसलेट जिस तरह से मैंने किया, उस तरीके से समझने की कोशिश की है मैंने। और आपने जिस तरह से एक प्रज्ञा के ऊपर जो कहा है कि कुछ ऐसे भी होते हैं जिनको कुछ साइकिक पावर्स नहीं मिलते, ये सही है?
हाँ, that's correct.
हाँ,
सही है.
हाँ, और लेकिन वो श्रोतापन्न हो सकते हैं, लेकिन उनको ये जो प्रज्ञा उनकी जागृत नहीं होती, तो इनको सत्ता मतलब चक्षु ज्ञान वगैरह ये सब नहीं होता है, लेकिन वो श्रोतापन्न हो जाते हैं.
सही है
जी. और कुछ लोग कुछ साधक ऐसे भी होते हैं कि जो सिर्फ सुत्त सुन के ही श्रोतापन्न हो सकते हैं.
हो सकते हैं.
और ऐसा, हाँ, और ऐसा एक हुआ भी है जो श्रीलंकन लेडी है शायद, है ना? हाँ, तो इतना समझ में आया है. और और अगर सोचूंगी तो पता नहीं, और मतलब सुना है मैंने, तो अभी ये सब अभी आ नहीं रहा, लेकिन मैंने सुना है। अगर कुछ क्वेश्चन उस पे आते हैं तो मैं आपसे जरूर इस बात को डिस्कस जरूर करूंगी।
No problem. ठीक है. Yeah, Anusha, go ahead. You had raised a hand.
Actually, that was my mistake. I wanted to clap because Shreya said we are all in jhana. That's why we didn't have any questions.
Yes. Yes, yes. Yeah, May, go ahead.
Actually, I realized I had a question. For the paññāvimutti, will this person still go through all the stages of sotapanna and everything, but just removing defilement each stage, but nothing else, no jhanas, and then, or will it happen still in stages, or will it go straight to arahant very quickly, and then just suddenly no defile? No.
Yeah, it's like this. That person, like we will take May for example. Okay, so May is having a good time with Ajahn Lee, and suddenly she gets into the meditative attainments, let's say, and then she starts contemplating on what is each one of these 12 links, Patisamutpada, and she's able to understand it completely and experience it. And then what happens? Then your jhanic stages will end and the paññāvimutti happens. Now we might say that whether is it in stages, May reached it, or is it one shot? And the answer is there in the sutta itself. He says that in everybody's case it is by stages. He's saying that here, no?
Unless they have that good of a parami or sila, right?
Even then it requires stages.
The stages, but it can happen either very quickly or slowly, I guess.
Yes, yes, that can happen. It can be slowly or by quickly, but it is stages.
So what about Bahya? Like Bahya.
Bahya has been practicing, see, especially coming to Bahya. What people think is that he never had Buddha Dhamma. How did it happen? There's nothing called as Buddha Dhamma. It's only Dhamma. Buddha just discovered it. It's not his own invention. He in fact says that, I just discovered. So, if you are in any tradition, doesn't matter what tradition, what belief system, as long as you don't have mannyana, like what we spoke, Bobby, yesterday, mannyana, mannyaneva, that is the problem. If you have mannyana, if you make Buddha Dhamma, it becomes mannyana. Mannyana means it's like taking it to be your thing, identification. When you identify, that's it. It's very difficult to come out of it. In the case of Bahya, he hadn't identified with anything. He was just practicing whatever he was practicing. It just required some guidance from the Buddha saying that you do this. When seeing, only seeing. When hearing, only hearing. When tasting, only tasting. When touching, only touching. When smelling, only smelling. When thinking, only thinking. That's it. Natena, natatta, all that he explains. And Bahya picks it up. He says, aha, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Now I'll do it instantaneously. But the practice has been there. But he need not be that he's a Buddha follower. He doesn't have to have Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, all of that. That need not be there.
He might have him in a Sotapanna or Sakadam before.
Yes, yes, in the previous lives. And then he just wanted something to be given. His is a gradual training, progress and practice.
It can also happen that the chitta like moves very fast, right? So one after the other, one chitta Sotapanna, the second one Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahant. So if all chitta continuously, it can happen in a same.
We don't know. Let's say it happens, it happens. It doesn't happen, doesn't happen. But we can't make that as a standard. You can't take it as a standard. That's the reason he's giving clarity here. gradual training, progress, and practice. And he also tells you how it is achieved. Okay, so shall we end?
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank
have,
you.
have a
Thank
good
you,
day.
Tervan Saranai.
Yeah, Tervan
It's
Sarnai.
very good sutra, Vilasji, and thank you, Bobbyji, for bringing this up. I think it's a really good sutra. I must go and recheck it now.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Thank you, Tervan Saranai.
Yeah, Tervan Sarnai. Bye.